So I want to talk about Family or Fiancé tonight because I don't watch every episode, and I don't think I'll have too much to say about different episodes, but because it's just always it's not always something to talk about with this show. But I wanted to talk about this episode because it involved domestic violence, and that's something that's close to my life, and I'm pretty passionate about that. And it's just rampant out here. It's just dangerous out here. For love is dangerous out here. I know people say, no, it's not love. It's the crazy people. No, it's people who can't handle love. People who can't love without needing to own someone. They can't love without needing to control someone. And they just can't be themselves in love. They can't let other people be. They can't let the person who they love be themselves while they love them. It's just, love is wild. It could be it's the best thing, the most wonderful feeling, but it can really be dangerous. So Family or Fiancé is when engaged couples come together, and they come to this house, and there's a counselor there named Tracy, and they invite their families, and they try to get their families' blessings for them to get married. They have 3 days there. And while they're there, they go through these exercises, these assignments. I think they call it homework sometimes, from Tracy, the counselor. And they're designed to answer any questions that the families may have about their union, to kind of put to rest any doubts that they may have about the union, and in order to get the blessing. And each of the partners will get with their partners' families to do these assignments. Like, for instance, with Katasha and Victor, Katasha got with Victor's family and answered some questions, and Victor got with Katasha's family and answered some questions. But the episode starts with sitting the family down and asking them what are the issues they have what are the concerns they have about the relationship. And the concerns that each of the partners' families had, the concerns that pretty much everyone had, was that Katasha and Victor have a huge age gap. We learned that Katasha met Victor at a grocery store. She was 19 and he was 49. He went to go see her every day until she finally agreed to go out with him, and they clicked and they were together. The kicker was that he was married when this happened. When she found out that he was married, she left briefly, but then I guess she got kicked out and she needed some place to stay. And he was able to convince her somehow. It just doesn't make any sense. He was able to, this is what she says, he was able to convince her that there was nothing between him and his wife. But even when she was kicked out of her mother's house and he took her in to live with him and his wife, they still had to lie and say that there was nothing going on between the two of them. That's why it doesn't make any sense. And this poor girl does not seem like an honest person. And we'll just get there. Because you when you're young and you're confused, like you don't even have a reality almost to when you're trying to convince yourself that things that don't make sense make sense. You become kind of delusional, and both of them seemed kind of delusional to me. I'll just get there. So they met each other at the grocery store, and like I said, they ended up living together. Once the wife found out that they were together, because when they were living in the house, whenever the wife would go out, that's when they would get together. Okay, and that's my thing, because I'm like, if there was nothing between them, why would you have to hide it, right? Or I don't know. When the wife finds out, the the wife and the husband and Victor end up, the wife goes into another bedroom, and I guess that Katasha and Victor have the main bedroom or something. I don't know. So, mind you, the people who have come for Victor are his son, his stepdaughter, and his best friend. They all have the same concerns that everyone has, like the age difference. The best friend just, according to Victor, the best friend's concern is that the girl is just trouble. And it's funny because when I was kind of groomed by an older person, by an older man, I remember that his friends were like, "No, man, no, 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 no." I remember hearing that. And that's just what this reminds me of. I was a few years younger than Katasha, and I'll just go here. Like I said, I was wooed by an older man at a very young age, and people like to say, "You know what you're doing." Yeah, I did know what I was doing, but the difference between how I would see what I was doing now, or even at the age of 19, like Katasha was, or even at the age of 24, which he was, I would have a different perspective. I would have more to go on to make a better choice. Because you get older and life teaches you things that you don't know even at Katasha's age, which is 19, which is why, the doctor says, what does a 49-year-old have in common with a 19-year-old? I don't care. Katasha in her live says that that they are both silly, like he's just like her, and da da da. No. Because while they're doing the assignment, Katasha reveals that she sees him as a father figure, and that's because his best friend asked her, is your father in your life? The question we would all ask if we had the opportunity in this situation, because we're all thinking this is like some sort of daddy issue thing, and she says that her father only calls once in a while. He isn't really too active, and she sees Victor as a father figure. And Victor's son says, "Isn't it kind of weird that you see your boyfriend as a father figure?" And she's just like, I guess some people can think that. And all the while, his stepdaughter is sitting to the side. Mind you, his stepdaughter and Katasha are the same age. His stepdaughter is sitting to the side, snickering, all that, and it's really bubbling up, just kind of pissing Katasha off, which I could understand, because if I'm being vulnerable and someone's being snarky and kind of sneering at my vulnerability, what I'm saying, like, no. I think I don't know what I would do in that situation, but I know that I understand Katasha snapping like she did. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm going to speak about this out of sequence, because this is just commentary. This episode has been out almost a week now, I think, and there are a lot of videos on it. You can even go on, find the video somewhere on YouTube and watch it, the full episode. So I'm just gonna give my commentary as my thoughts come. So when Victor is talking to Katasha's family, which is the ones that came consist of her mother, her cousin, and her best friend, the subject of abuse comes up. Victor lies and says no. Victor says that if there's any abuse, she abuses him. Okay, he says that she abuses him, and she would hit him before he hits her. And then and then he starts laughing, and the producer says, are you serious? Is that real? And then he says, no, it's not real. So he lies about that. And that's off to me, just because later on we find out that he is in fact abusing this woman, which you just kind of get the vibe just naturally, because what the hell is going on? But it's revealed that he's abusing her, and that he didn't want to come on the show and that she better not say anything about the abuse. But he is the first person that brings it up. And what I'm thinking is that, like, he is on the when he's answering these questions, you can tell that he's on the defense. So you should, I mean, which is understandable. Nobody wants to be on trial. Nobody wants to be interrogated. But he was on, like, someone who's in the wrong, like, that's guilty. You know, he just had a very guilty demeanor about him, and he was answering these questions, like the abuse thing. As he took the abuse question, which was a question, and it was asked. He pulled the paper out of the jar, and it was written. The question was written down, and he read it himself, but he responded as if someone accused him of abusing her. So anyway, so yes, so that's a lie or whatever. And the mom is just like, listen, so I'm just concerned about this because I've seen this stuff before, because and Katasha has seen this before in my relationship. She's seen me get beat up and all that, and then we found out later that she was beat up so bad she had to go to the hospital and all this stuff. And that and only that is what got her out of the relationship that she was in. And so they're all concerned about the abuse factor, and concerned about I don't know which one of them, was it his son or his stepdaughter or his best friend that was concerned. I think it might have been his son. His son was concerned because among all of his concerns, I'm sure, among many, was that he said whenever, or maybe it was, I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to say who said this because I don't really remember. But somebody said whenever you someone asks you something, you kind of look at him for the answer. So, like, are you being controlled? So the theme was just that. So when Katasha finally goes off because the stepsister or the stepdaughter is sneering at her, he comes in. The family hears a yelling. Her mom hears a yelling and then goes to go check on their daughter. Excuse me, I'm going to drink some water here. And it all ends up going in the house because he has to come and Victor has to come and get Katasha and convince her to calm down. And he's like, the questions they asking me, I know it was hard for you because you just knew, that somebody was going to call you out for your works. And it's just funny because everyone seemed to, like I said, everyone seemed to know, like, this is an abusive relationship. This relationship is just jacked. Let me see. So yeah, so then we'll wrap it up. So by the end of the episode, the daughter confides in her mother that he has been abusive toward her, and that he was angry with her and didn't want to come on the show because he didn't want this to come out, and he said she better not say nothing about this. And she told her mom that she didn't want her mom to say anything about it. But her mom went to Tracy and told Tracy about it. She just, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what she was thinking. But you feel in those situations, you feel like you have to do something, and you may feel like this is the only time, this is the biggest thing you can do. This is the most you can do, because when you have to be hurt before police will step in, and even then they can't do much. If these abusers are coming after you, they can do something. They can lock them up, but you'd be hard pressed to get to that point. Like, they really have to hurt you for them to end up locked up. So she goes to Tracy and she tells and Tracy tells her, for her to tell you this, she must have wanted to come on this show to say this. She must have wanted us to help her. So I'm going to have to talk to her about this. So Tracy brings her to brings her, for some reason Tracy brings her and Victor in and talks to them both. Victor is like kind of has her in a like protective like hold, his body language toward her is like, he's protecting, like, this is mine, you can't really, keep me away from her, even though I ain't shit. You can't really, and Tracy lets him know. Tracy says, what's up with the abuse, and and says that we need to get to the truth here, and he's being very evasive or whatever, and he's saying that he don't want to talk about it if she don't want to talk about it, because she's shaking her head, because she's shaking her head. So she excuses Victor, and she says Victor to leave, and then she wants to talk to Katasha about it, and Katasha's just at first I was thinking, like, because he said that she was the seed that he planted, that she was the aggressor. I was entertaining that, and it just kind of muddied the waters for me. So when she was talking to Katasha, and Katasha took the tissue from her, and then it wasn't until Katasha put the tissue over her face because she was so ashamed, and that it wasn't until I was like, yeah, this girl, yeah, this is real. This is real stuff, because as I said, I've been in this position. Someone I love very dearly was in this position, and that shame always looks the same. You can just that shame is a dead giveaway. So they decide, or they say that they're gonna put the marriage on hold. They're not gonna do the blessing ceremony. They're gonna Tracy suggest that they stay apart for 30 days. And of course they don't. Victor's, tries to, say the whole thing where, normally it's the man, but in this case, that's not necessarily true. Victor, that means nothing. You being so much older, you can you need to, you should be making the decision to end this. You have some sense. So do it. Like, so use it and make the choice to separate. And I don't care. The onus is on him. It's really, she's not together, because even though they say they're going to split up for the 30 days, and at the end she makes this whole statement saying she's glad she was able to come on the show to tell her story. She has been a victim of abuse for 6 years. She's been in an abusive relationship for 6 years. She says that to the camera at the end, and on her lives, because I watched her lives on YouTube. She has a channel, her and Victor. By the way, they put up, at the end of the show, they put up the fact that they went on ahead and got married without the family. Nobody was there. They went to the courthouse and got married. And it wasn't after the 30 days. It was like, probably during the 30 days. They never really took the 30 days at all. So I went to go look at her live, and she says that everything that she said on the show, everything she talked about on the show happened like 5 years ago. Not maybe she forgot that she said maybe she forgot that she said 6 or a few months on the show. Maybe she forgot because her mother specifically asked her, like, how long ago was this, and she was like, or how recently has this abuse happened, and she was like, about a couple of months ago. And that was why she was on the show. So it's like, what are you negating? Like, but then you have to remember, this is someone who's trying to convince themselves. Either, she's completely out of her mind, or she's really beat down and trying to convince herself that this all makes sense. Or, he and her mother, I think they all pretty much said that she admitted that after a while, after some of the abuse, she started becoming aggressive too. So, but like I said, even if she is also aggressive, no, you get out of there. Like, you don't have to have this 19-year-old in your house. And he was also cheating on her. He was also cheating on her. He kept saying, like I said, he told her mother that he cheated as much as he cheated on her, as much as she cheated on him. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. He was saying that she would kick him out, or she would leave, and then that's when he would be free. So he would go do what he wanted to do. And she said that she would leave whenever she found him cheating. You can tell, like, to me, it was a very, it was wild. Anyway, so another thing she said in her lives was that that Tracy was being very performative, and when Tracy hugged Katasha, it just looked like it was very fake looking. So I can, it's a show, so there is some performing, to an extent, I'm sure. But according to her, they chopped and screwed everything, and they lied about everything. But baby girl, you are caught up, and I hope that you can get out of it, because this man is a liar. Very obviously, at the end of the episode, the best friend said, "I knew something was going on because you like to slick talk," and that's what they do. Typical. Like when she asked, do you cheat on my daughter, and he said, as much as she cheat on me, or try to say, yeah, I'm defending myself, and no, the way that girl was crying, no, that's a battered young woman. And I guess it's a whole nother conversation to where it's like, why do we say it's a battered young woman and not entertain the idea that he's a battered old man? I would have to take a turn at entertaining it, because I just can't. My mind doesn't go there. She sees you as a father figure. No. And she said that he sees her as a daughter. No. You groomed a troubled young woman. I said she's troubled because she said she was kicked out of her mom's house. And when I watched her lives, she mentioned that she was also kicked out of her cousin's house. Troubled. You groomed a troubled young woman while you were already married. When Tracy asked at the beginning of the episode, when Tracy asked him what happened with his other marriages, he said, well, they weren't serious. Tracy said, all marriages are serious. Like, what are you talking about? No. This man. But, you can't help anyone who doesn't want help. And it's unfortunate, because that's what takes a lot of these women, a lot of these people who are abused out of here, because they just can't get their minds. They can't stay on the right track. Her mother got out of a situation, and so some people do, but a lot of people don't. And the cycle continues. She said that Katasha saw, like I said, Katasha saw some of the abuse in her house growing up. And then, because at first I was like, you have to, because it was the scene with her mother hugging her it was touching, but it was also, Katasha seemed standoffish, and it's almost like, you kind of want to like, well, why'd you kick her out? Like, this is why she's out there. Like, this is how she was out there and able to get caught up by somebody like this. But, it's different for kids. Like, it's different, like, in the moment. Because nobody really knows what to do. Nobody knows what the right thing to do is. And when kids, especially kids, even up to, late teens, 18, 19, you don't know what to do. And you just kind of go where the wind blows you. So, there are kids who live very structured lives, and who've always been able to go to their parents that end up taking off the path, by some outside influence. So you don't know. Hopefully her mother is able to kind of get her back together. As of I guess they're still together now. I should have looked at the date on the lives. There's also a live on here. I'm saying lives. They're not lives. They're videos. There's also a video because they have a whole channel, Victor and Katasha. I think I mentioned that earlier, but it's a video that says Victor explains, and it's just like you keep trying to, and I understand you trying to defend yourself, but is no way you'll be not wrong. No way. I'm not even gonna watch the video. I just can't entertain it. And I know, like I said, I know that some women are abusive, some relationships are just toxic, where, someone could be toxic in one relationship and be cool in the next. But this man was a married man going to the grocery store every day to buy a loaf of bread from a young woman, a 19-year-old, and she looks young still at 25. She looks super young at 19. This old man, 49 years old, compared to her, old man, sees her and picks her off. And he said that, he didn't think it was going to be anything. He didn't think about the age thing because he didn't think it was going to be anything big. It was going to be anything serious. So he was just going to get busy with her and throw it to the side. And the wife still, have no clue that he's out here wilding and just doing whatever he wants to do. He didn't say all the extra stuff, but he did say that he didn't think that the relationship with her, when confronted about him doing that while he was married, he just said he didn't think it was going to go anywhere. He's trash. But in one of her videos, she said they're good. They're just, they're just like each other. She said this is going to be her last marriage. When he dies, she's going to be a widow until she dies. She's very committed to it. Who knows? It's just a sad situation. We can only pray for all of us. We can only pray for everyone. Well, that's it. And that's how that go.